Hello and welcome to MidnightSilverCrafters.com. My name's Steve and I'll be
Today in
your
this
host.
video we're going to be talking about wax patterns. We're going to be talking about where you get them, how you can make them, and what you do with them. And hopefully after this video you'll know quite a bit about wax patterns so that you might be able to get started if you want to do some casting and make your own castings and make some jewelry and do some lost wax casting. You see right here on the table I got quite a few patterns of different wax patterns. Now these are all molds that I have. I have a lot of molds of my own, and they're rubber molds. There's different types of molds. There's molds like this right here. Okay, this is just your typical. This is basically the industry standard type molds that you make for making wax patterns in. And I've got a lot of these. Now, in this video, I'm not going to cover making the molds, okay? I'm going to be covering the different kind of molds that you can make in some separate videos. But I want to show you just a few things. But now, see, you can take and you can get a different, if you have a piece of jewelry that you like, okay, like this right here. This right here is a dragonfly. I apologize for the background noise. My dogs are barking. I'm just real sorry about that. They're in the house, but sometimes they bark, and I don't know why they bark, but who knows what they might be barking at. But you get like this dragonfly. This is a real nice piece. See that I had this piece and somebody saw this. I didn't actually make this particular piece I got in my hand, but somebody seen this and they asked me if I could make them a mold, or not a mold, but you know, an actual dragonfly just like this, made out of silver. So I told them sure I could do it, you know. And what I did, let me just go check on these dogs and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. These dogs will bark for no reason sometimes. I don't know why they do it, but anyhow, this dragonfly right here, somebody saw that and they wanted me to make them one out of silver. So I took this piece right here that I got in my hand and I made this. Okay, now this is a rubber mold. This is a mold that you can make real easy, and I'm going to be covering all this. Okay, if you can see that hole right there, well, that hole right there, that's where you shoot your wax right into that hole. But this mold, you can see right here. You won't be able to see the detail because you just can't see it because it's down in the rubber. But this particular mold right here, I made this out of what they call RTV silicone. And it's dead simple. I mean, all you got to do is put your piece down in a little food container, and basically is just put it down in there with a little bit of clay, and then pour your rubber on it. Okay, and you can make molds. And this piece turned out to be a very hot selling piece, and I've sold a bunch of those already. Everybody just loves that dragonfly. But that's what you can do. I'm just showing you now. These silicone molds are really about the easiest molds you can make. They're real easy. But this RTV silicone, it's a little more expensive. But now I'm going to talk about this type of mold. This is your traditional jewelry rubber. Now, you can see this right here on the inside. Okay, now what this is a ring mold, okay? And now these molds, you can make these molds right here yourself, but you're going to need you're going to need some equipment. Like I said, I'm going to cover all these different types of molds and how you make them, and each mold type will have its own separate video. But this particular rubber right here is a regular jewelry rubber. It's called Castaldo. And to make these molds, what you got to have a metal pattern to work from. Now this particular dragonfly, see, this was metal. I had this pattern in metal, okay? But you got to have a metal pattern, and then you got to get some of this rubber, and you got to have some mold frames, okay, to put it in, and then you got to have a vulcanizer, okay, which what a vulcanizer does is it heats this up under pressure. It's going to put pressure and heat to it, and then you're going to have some skills. You can see this was cut all by hand. See all those cuts on there? Now you got to have some skills on cutting these, which I'll cover all that. And then right here is your sprue button. See, and then there's a little sprue. But this mold right here makes a wax pattern, which at the moment I don't have the wax pattern out of that mold, but I do have this. This is a finished piece that I made, okay, from a wax pattern out of that mold, and you can see this is a real nice. It's a real nice ring. Now this is one of my best-selling rings right here. This cross ring. Everybody loves this cross ring. But I'm just showing you now what you can do, okay, with these, with these wax patterns and stuff. Now, those are two types of molds. Now, there is one more type of mold, which is this, okay. Now, this is just this rubber. This is plain old silicone that you get, and you mix it with cornstarch. There's a million different recipes on YouTube and all over the internet, but you can mix this rubber up, and it's dirt cheap. I mean, it's real cheap. This is the cheapest type rubber that you can use. You can actually use this to make wax patterns with. But now the thing about this rubber is you're limited, and the steps in making these are a little bit different. Okay, not much different, but you can see right here. Now this is an air vent right here on the bottom, and then right up here, see, I got my sprues. I cut my sprues in right here, and then right there is my little, see, that's my little button right there, that's where you put your wax injector. You stick your nozzle right in that hole and shoot it. But you can make these too, and these are dirt cheap. Now starting out, you'll probably want to make some of these, but like I said, you're limited with this kind of rubber. Certain parts just aren't gonna work, and you're limited to basically, flat pieces with no undercuts. But I'm just showing you a little bit about the molds and what you can do. Now, another thing that I want to show you is you can actually take. Let me see if I can show you something here. Let me grab a pair of tweezers. I'm going to show you something what else you can do. Alright, now this right here, just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get this for you where you can see it. I'll try to hold this up. Hold this on out here so you'll be able to see this. But what I do is I make a lot of patterns and a lot of designs, okay, and I make them out of Fimo clay. Now if you see that, that's a turtle that I'm working on. Now that's going to be a real nice piece when I get that all worked out. I'm not done with it. That's just a very rough shape. I got a long way to go on this one, but I make them out of Fimo clay, okay? Now, the nice thing about working with this medium is you can make your original your original patterns out of Fimo clay, and then you can make them. You can make these types of molds, these rubber molds, these silicone rubber molds like this, because you just pour your silicone right over it and it makes a beautiful mold. Okay, now here's another piece that I made. I'll show you. If you can see that, this is an earring. Okay, that's an earring, and it's a bear claw earring is what it is. I'm holding it wrong, but that's a bear claw earring. Okay, and it's going to have a little bezel right here on the top where the tweezers are. There's going to be a little bezel on that. Okay, but I made that out of Fimo clay, and that's just one thing that you can do when it comes to wax patterns. Now, if you're going to make your own wax patterns, okay, what you're going to need when you get going making your own patterns and you want to shoot your own molds, you're going to need this right here. Okay, now this right here is jewelry wax. Okay, and this particular brand, Fire and Frost jewelry wax, okay, Fireflex Blue. Now this is some of the best wax I've found. It's the best that I've found, and it's the cheapest I've found. So you might want to consider getting some of this type of wax when you get going with your, when you get going, if you want to start making your own wax patterns. Now you can buy wax patterns. You can buy them on eBay. You can buy them online. There's big companies that have thousands of them, and they're all different prices. They're anywhere from $3 on up to, some wax patterns will cost you $20 just for the wax, but it just depends. Roughly about $3 to $6 a piece for wax patterns. Now, I'm going to be selling a lot of patterns on my website, so please keep me in mind. All these patterns here are molds I have, and I've got a whole lot more, so I'm going to be posting all those on my website so that people that subscribe to my channel will be able to have, some patterns to work with. But I just want to cover that. Now, what you do once you learn, a little bit more, once you get going with some of your wax patterns, when you're about ready to when you're ready to start casting, what you do is, if you can see that now, this, I'll try to get this focused for you. This is a tree, okay? Now, this is a tree that I'm building, okay? So what you do, you build these trees like this. See, now that's got a cross. And see, now there's my sprue base. I don't use rubber sprue bases. I just use clay. For me, it's better, and I just like it. That's how I do it. But you see, I got that main trunk of that tree, and then I got that cross, and then now here, see on this side, now see there's that other earring that I was talking about. If I can get this thing to focus. But there's that other earring. It's hard to see. My light's not that great, but you get the idea of what I'm saying here. But you see, you make these trees. Now, I'm going to probably put about 5 more pieces on this tree. I'll probably have about 6 or 8 pieces. Now, I'll probably have about 8 or 10 pieces of jewelry on this one tree. When I pour this mold, see, I'll have every piece that's on the tree. See, you look at it like this, it's like an upside down tree. But I'll cover all that more. I think the next video I'm going to make is going to be about making trees. Okay, I think the next video that I'm going to make is going to be about making those trees and what you got to do with your patterns when you get started and you're ready to do some casting. But that's pretty much about it for this video. I just wanted to go over basically, what the wax patterns are and how you use them and stuff like that, and what you can do with them. You can do a lot of stuff. Here's one I'll show you right here. If I can show you this. Now see, that's where I got my tweezers, that's the sprue. Now that rounded sprue part, that'll be cut off after you have your casting, after you cut that off your tree. But you see this part right here, the cross, the basic cross. It's kind of like a wire cross, okay? It looks like a wire cross. Well, that's the pattern, okay? And I got a regular rubber mold for this, one of these type molds like this. Okay, but I want to show you. See, here's a ring I made. Okay, and now see, that's that same pattern, that cross. But what I did, see, I just soldered a little flat base plate in the middle with some tiny little prongs, and I put me a nice little turquoise cabochon in there. And then on the back of that cross, I soldered me on this ring shank. So to see what I made, this ring right here, which is, the whole ring is not a casting, but that top cross, that cross is a casting. Okay, and now the ring shank, I just made that out of, I just rolled out some wire on my rolling mill and made that ring shank. Now I do a lot of silversmithing, and I'll be covering all that in some other videos. If you want to learn, silversmithing, making jewelry by hand that way, make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to be teaching that as well. Okay, so yeah, this channel is all about jewelry making. I do the stones, I do all my own cabs and everything. So if you're interested in any of this, if any of this stuff sparks your interest, go ahead and subscribe, and make sure to hit that little bell icon so that you'll be notified of whenever I put new videos out. But I'll be making new videos twice every week now. Every Wednesday and every Sunday I'm going to be making new videos, so be sure to watch. Now my very next video I'm going to make as a series to this is going to be getting set up and making some trees, okay? Because really, when you're going to start doing some jewelry casting, you're probably not going to want to cast just one single ring, because why would you just make one single ring when you can make, as many pieces as you want? You add them up, you just tree them up. But you see, I'll just show you real quick right here on this, and then I'm going to end this video, because this is not really about, making trees in the casting aspect of it. But what you do is you make your tree, okay, and then you just take a food can, just a regular food can like this. You cut the bottom out, you cut the top out, and all you do is you set that right over there, and it's really dead simple. And you stick it down in that clay. See, and that clay seals the bottom, and now you pour your investment, see, and then your wax is down in there, and you just pour that mold with your investment, and then you stick that in your burnout furnace, and you burn it out, okay? And then you burn it out, and then you get it out of the oven, and while it's still hot, you pour your molten metal in there, and all the wax will be gone. The wax is totally, because you burn it out really hot and really long, so there's no there's nothing in the mold except just a cavity that was exactly of the exact shape of the wax. I mean, every little minute detail, believe it or not, down to a fingerprint on that wax. So I'll be talking a lot more about, you know, working with the wax, because you gotta learn, you know, you gotta learn some sprueing and stuff. See, this is some sprue wax, but you gotta learn it, and it's not hard at all. It's really simple. Making those trees, you just get you some sprue wax, and you get some little metal tools like this, and you take a torch and you heat the end of this torch, and you gotta work around. I'll cover that. That's gonna be in my next video. So I'll have a link right up here to the video, so you can just click this link and you'll be able to see my whole next video, which is going to be working with trees, making trees, and a little more on getting everything ready to cast up. My name's Steve, and I really appreciate you stopping by, and thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.